can you tell us what went into the decision of naming Trevor as starting quarterback?
You know, it's just like we do every week. We sit down and we have a staff meeting and we evaluate every player, every position, their performance. And after 4 games, just looking at it, when you look at both of them, they both have played well, done a lot for us. But it just came down to you got to reward productivity. If you look at his opportunities, he's taking advantage of it. So he didn't do anything wrong. It's just a situation where he's been in the game, he's been productive, and to be fair to competition, just like we do at every position. You know, coach decided to name him starter for this game. And again, it's not a lifetime contract. You got to prove it in practice. You got to prove it in the next game. And when Kelly gets his opportunities, he'll have a chance.
Tony, you've had a couple of days to digest this game, and you've obviously looked at the film. Talk about some of the throws that Trevor made on Saturday, and how you can compare those to the other guys on the roster.
You know, the one that jumps to mind is the one to Ross, the touchdown run. You know, he had some pressure in his face. He kind of slid to the right and delivered a strike, and obviously I think they had a busted coverage. He just continues to extend plays. He has very good pocket presence. I think the one sprinting to his left that he put on the shoulder of Renfro in the end zone. Obviously, we all know what his arm talent is, and you know, Kelly throws the ball well and run as well. Made some big plays. The other one sprinting to the right, so he made some good throws, and I think all 3 quarterbacks can make those plays. The biggest thing is when you have your opportunity to do it, you know, in the game setting, you got to make those throws.
Tony, how difficult was it, you know, knowing what Kelly's done for y'all the last year and a half here as a starter?
You know, I'm not gonna say it's difficult, because again, that's the mindset and the culture that we have in place here in the program. That these guys know that you got to bring it every single day. They recognize the competition level. Obviously, you know, Kelly, you know, is a guy that's done a lot for us, but he understood going into it that he was going to have to compete, just like every position. Same thing with Cleveland and Travis and all the guys. And Dexter Lawrence, they know every single day that they come on this practice field, and every single game they got to be productive, or somebody else is going to get a chance.
Tony, are things going to just flip-flop now with Trevor getting the first 2, then Kelly 2, and then you ride the hot hand, or is this a...
You know, that's like it is every week. Coach Sweeney and Coach Streeter, you know, will sit down and determine how they want to manage that throughout the course of the game. You know, the biggest thing is because of the production, Coach did decide to give Trevor the opportunity. He's earned that opportunity based off his production to run out there first. And again, it's week to week. You know, so we'll still continue to evaluate the same way we do. But obviously, right now, Trevor's earned that right to run out there first.
Was there a moment while watching film where a mutual decision was made amongst the staff that Trevor should be the guy?
No, you know, that discussion happened after we watched the film. Obviously, when we sit in with Coach Sweeney at his staff meeting, and we discussed it. But obviously, you can't discount the production and the spark that he provided in that game. And you go back to Texas A&M. You know, Kelly was the guy that gave us the spark with him, because he had the hot hand, and obviously based on that, he had the opportunity to start the next game. And so, you know, there was no collective decision while we were watching film. It was more everybody just discussing and saying, hey, you know, here's where we are. We're 4 games in. You know, both of them have played well. Now let's look at the numbers and see how they pan out.
Coach, when Trevor had that unfortunate, unlucky interception, he came right back on the next series and threw one of his best passes of the season on an out route from the opposite hash. Have you always been seeing that kind of short memory from him?
Yeah, no question. You know, I think I've said that before, you know, in discussion with you guys. Just he's such a competitor. He's his biggest critic, and he has that ability that some guys don't have, just to shake it off and go to the next. And I think that's what makes him special, because he has that confidence knowing he can make every throw. And just to clarify that was really Travis's fault. We were trying to run a little screen to him. He didn't get enough of the defensive end. He sold it too quick. The defensive end, you know, then didn't rush, and because of the timing, you know, and obviously Trevor, you would like for him to try and throw that away, but that was more a situation where Travis didn't execute his job the way he was supposed to.
Are there any other positions besides quarterback where the starting job is heated, it's really tight?
You know, Travis is a guy, and I think Taven now is playing at a very high level, you know, back-to-back games. And, you know, Taven's a guy I've always had to challenge. I'm really proud of him, because now, you know, you're starting to see that demeanor every single day in practice, and you're seeing him be productive in the game. And then obviously Travis is very productive with the ball, but without the ball, I got to challenge him to play better. The pass protection, you know, that first sack, you know, he was doing a little bit too much. He shouldn't have been up in the offensive line. He should be getting out on the route, so therefore he picks off the center. So again, I know specifically in my position, Travis is challenging every day. And I think we started, you know, in reference to the other question about rotation. When we started, you know, Travis had a big lead, and so he was getting, you know, 2-3 series before those other guys were rotating. But now you're starting to see that because of where Taven is and Adam pushing that Travis, you know, every single day he has to bring it. You know, more in particular without the ball. And then the same thing at all the other positions. You see, we flip-flop guys in the offensive line. You know, Pollard was in a situation where he started, and the next week you had you have Kate Stewart in there. So every position, man, we're challenging these guys to bring out the best.
With Feaster, is it a matter of you feel like is healthy now, or is he different mindset, or what is it?
You know, I think it's a combination of both. I think when he started camp, obviously he was a little bit limited with his knees, and I think that put a little pressure on, a little undue pressure. You know, he wanted to perform at such a high level and he couldn't quite, and so therefore there was a little bit of a gap coming out of camp with Adam Choice, and you know, then going through a couple games where you know he may have wanted to be the second guy in, but he didn't earn it in practice, and so we had a conversation and had a heart to heart, and you know, we both expressed where we were, and we came to a collective agreement that the only way we're going to get, you know, to where you want to be is, man, you just got to commit to everything that you do, and now you're starting to see that. So he's practicing at a high level, and therefore he's playing at a high level. So I think it's a combination of now he's healthy, and then also, you know, he's made the decision that he's going to go take what he wants.
Trevor doesn't show a lot of emotion, but when you guys told him that he was getting a starting job, did he get a smile, or what was his reaction?
You know, that was a discussion between, you know, Coach Sweeney, him and his position coach. You know, I wasn't a part of that discussion. And if I had to, you know, to guess, you know, I'd say he'd have the same cool, collected demeanor. And he's been unbelievable. Kelly's been unbelievable in handling that situation. And I think both of those guys are pulling for each other at the same time while they're competing.
Tony, when you were in college here, played here, it was pretty rare for a freshman to be able to come onto the team and kind of make an impact. But over the last couple of years, you know, we saw Travis has done that. Now Trevor's done it. Justin Ross is making an impact. What's changed? Is it college football, high school football that's changed, or is it this place that's changed in the level of recruiting?
You know, I think it's high school football, you know, has changed. I think, you know, I just think back to when I was in high school. I don't think I touched a weight. You know, I was playing 3 sports, lifting weights. We didn't have strength and conditioning. We just played ball. You know, now these guys are specializing in their sports. You know, a lot of them are 2-sport athletes, but at the same time, they're still making time for the other sport out of season. The coaching at the high school level obviously has gotten better from the standpoint of there's a lot more access to college. You think about when I was in high school, when I was in college, there was no internet. You know, the only time you had access to a college coach, if you're a high school coach, you came to a clinic. But now you have social media, you have the internet, you have relationships. So I think that the quality of the preparation at the high school level, and I think something's in the food. You look at these guys are coming out of high school, you know, very, very mature. Whereas again, like I said, when I was coming out of high school, I was 175, 180 pounds, wasn't lifting weights, wasn't ready to compete, you know, at the college level. I think these guys are coming out just from their body standpoint a lot more mature, and then also from a football preparation standpoint, they're ahead of the curve.
Going into this game, is there a little bit of a revenge mentality, or is it truly just like any other game in the sense that what these guys did to you a year ago, and at that time you weren't sure how things were going to shake out after that?
No, you got to give those guys credit for how they played last year. Obviously, they flat out took it to us and beat us, but no, it's not a revenge factor. We understand that this is the most important game on the schedule because it's the game that we're playing. It's a division game. We're playing at home, so obviously we got to have the right mindset that we come on this practice field and we earn the victory by the way that we practice and we go out and we play well.
How close was the decision between starting Kelly and starting Trevor? Was it neck and neck, or did Trevor really separate himself?
You know, it was a decision where, like I said, Kelly didn't do anything wrong. Both of them have played well. Just when you look at after 4 games, when you look at the production, obviously you got to reward production. So that was a situation where Coach said, hey, this young man's been productive. You look at what he did in the last game, the drives that he had, the points that we put on the board. So it was more a situation of you just got to reward him for his production. He's earned that right.
Kelly's always expressed an understanding that this is a competition. What do you know about his reaction to this?
You know, if I had to imagine, obviously, you know, Kelly's done a lot for this program. He's an unbelievable young man. He's overcome a lot of adversity. He's put everything that he had into being the starting quarterback. And again, you know, this is just this week. So obviously, I know that he's probably disappointed because he knows that he's a leader on this team. These guys look up to him, but he also understands that competition, and he knows that. And I think he trusts the process with the coaches that we're going to be fair and we're going to reward the guys that deserve the opportunities.
Coach, you had tremendous balance on offense these last couple of weeks. Only 23 yards or less separated passing and rushing yards. How much of a luxury is that? How much easier does that make your play calling when the opponent knows that you're multidimensional?
You know, I think that it allows us to put pressure and take what's there. You know, I think when we're at our best offensively, we take what they give us. And so if they're going to sit back and give us a 6-man box, then we got to be able to run the football. And then when they decide that they want to come up and try and stop the run, then it opens up the play action. You know, so I think it gives us the ability to attack and take advantage of what the defensive structure will give us.
Tony, what do you know about Syracuse's defense when you've seen them?
They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're experienced on the back end. You can tell those guys are communicating well, playing with a lot of confidence. Their defensive line looks like they've had an offseason to transform. Their defensive ends are coming off the ball, getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Linebacker, obviously, there's some new linebackers in there, but they're very athletic. They run around. You see these guys are playing with a lot of confidence. They understand what they're doing, and they fly to the football. And they're disruptive because of some of the interior movements that they have in their D-line.
What are some areas that could be used as room for improvement this week on offense?
Okay, so we did have the sack that we gave up. That's one of the things that we challenge our guys every week is the key to our success offensively is to protect the quarterback. And we want to go a game where we don't get the quarterback hit and we don't get him sacked. So we gave up that one sack, and we had a couple hurries. Obviously, he didn't get hit, but he got hurried a little bit. Just some continue to improve upon our communication in the run game. Those guys up front, man, it's not easy to do what they do. Everybody's moving. They line up one way. They move before the snap. They move after the snap, and just making sure we're communicating on the same page. And then build upon the explosiveness. Continue to stay explosive, and just see can we play a clean game, no turnovers, minimal negative plays, and then just go out and continue to rush the football.
Was that the physically imposing showing you wanted to see out of the offensive line going in?
I thought they responded to the challenge. We all were challenged last week by Coach Sweeney to live up to what we're capable of living up to, and we improved. Obviously, we didn't hit the target by any stretch of the word, but we improved. I thought the guys up front were really trying to create a new line of scrimmage, and you don't rush for the amount of yards that we rush for and have those explosive plays in the run game without those guys creating some air up front.
Coach, Pollard and Cade Stewart splitting time at guard. I don't think many expected that back in July. Was there a moment in time during camp or even closer to the season where you said, wow, Cade's really competing and could get a lot of playing time?
We've always thought that Cade was a guy that had the right demeanor about himself, just needed some experience, and now he's at a point where he's confident with the scheme and what we're doing. So now he can add the physical mentality of his game and understand what we're doing. And so we felt like we had some depth, and we knew we were going to play those guys, and just pleased with where Cade is and how he's challenged Pollard and is making Pollard better. And again, for Pollard too, Pollard's transitioning to a new position, on the interior.
Anything else? All right.